Rock engravings and markings that indicate the early human activities. This is the Marshall Cave located at the Yankari Game Reserve. It was named after P.J. Marshall, a British colonial administrator who explored the areas. For people who don't know, slave trade actually existed. Yes, we are not just taught about it. These are not ordinary stories. These things happened, and it could be like your forefathers, it could be your ancestors, you don't just know. But these caves were used by our ancestors as a hideout and as a defensive protection from their masters. They actually carved this with their hands, because imagine you trying to run and look for protection. You definitely do everything you can just to hide yourself from your enslavers. I hope I'm correct. But I'm taking you inside to see how well these things were carved. And
every black person living should go to Ghana and see them slave castles so you can see what they did to us. You got to see what they did to us. You got to see how they built these dungeons underground and they put these churches on top and they dug holes in the ground to pump the music of what they call their Christianity into the holes while, man, they did. Let me explain something to y'all. They walk them as far as they can first to make them lose weight. They put them in a room, then they cut a door, and after you've been in this room in 2 weeks, they walk you through this door. If you lose the right amount of weight, you fit through the door. If you don't fit through the door, you got to stay in this room right here. Then you in this room for another week, they make you lose some more weight. Then you fit through another door. If you can't fit through the door, you ain't lost enough weight. You got to go through 4 doors like that before you go through the door of no return.
the arrival of the British, the French, the Dutch, and the Portuguese people in the 15th century intensified like the demand for enslaved people. Africans were captured through kidnapping, raids, and war, and they were sold to the European at a very, very, very coinless price. So during that period, our people, let's say in Africa then, slavery was terrible. People were not meant to be properties. People were just servants. Like you literally like okay to do whatever you wanted to. But in the slave trade between the Africans and this people, sorry for the break, got a call. So, like I was saying, slavery was terrible. The servants were domestic staffs, like you just go, you work. Not the one where people are meant to be like your properties that you could discard or do whatever you want to do with them. And these people find themselves like superior to we, the blacks, because of our skin color, obviously. But I don't think that should be the case. So, the slave trade, people were purchased, they were sold to the Americans, and these people were used in plantation. Like you get to rare production of cotton, sugar. Like they mostly work like they are like what is another name for slave? Is there a worse name for slave? I don't think there is. So those people were properties that were found useless in the eyes of those masters. They were mostly white, like I said, the British, the Dutch, the when I talk like when we're about to talk about slave trade, there is no way that you will not be emotional when you go through like all what your our ancestors had to like go through in the hands of those people. Those people are monsters, like they are evil, they are devils. Because tell me why you treat people like that, like you bury people alive, you put people in dungeons, like you put chains around their hands and their neck and you make them carry stones. Like I can't even bring myself to talk more about slave trade, because when I'm like reading the histories and everything, I feel like tearing up. And like I'm a very teary person, so I'll just let you guys watch like clips talking about slave trade. I did some clips talking about slave trade, and then God, our people really, African really suffered though. We suffered. Ah, eh, hmm.
The churches were there when people were being colonized. They were there when people were being discriminated against, while the same Bible that they read said that there is no Jew, no Gentile, no man, no woman. Yet they allowed it to happen. Religion was used to pacify, and the culture and the whole idea of turn the other cheek. Religion did not preach being a keeper of one's brother or sister. Religion did not assert that we should be good Samaritans. The people in religion became bad Samaritans. And it is instructive that in the recent past, the Roman Catholic Church has apologized. The Anglican Church has apologized because they know that they were complicit both in slavery and in colonization.
African tribes that were taken away during the Atlantic slave trade. The Yoruba people were taken from modern-day Nigeria and Republic of Benin to countries such as Brazil, Cuba, and Trinidad and Tobago. The Igbo people, also from Nigeria, were taken to Barbados, Haiti, and Jamaica before being shipped to North America. The Akan people, primarily from present-day Ghana, were taken to Brazil, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago. The Congo people, from the region encompassing modern-day Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Republic of Congo, were taken to Brazil, Cuba, and Haiti. Lastly, the Mandinka people, from countries such as Senegal, Guinea, and Mali, were taken to countries such as Brazil and the United States. These tribes endured unimaginable suffering and displacement as a result of the transatlantic slave trade, with their descendants now scattered across the Americas and beyond.
When they move from Europe to Africa, they're called voyages of discovery. When we move from Africa to Europe, we're called illegal immigrants. A group of Africans in Europe ill refugees. A group of Europeans in Africa ill tourists. A group of Africans in the bush ill poachers. A group of Europeans in bush eels hunters. Black people working in a foreign country ill foreigners. White people working in a foreign country ill expatriates. This world has failed Africa. Or have we failed ourselves? Food for thought. In fact, the utmost stupidity normalized by Africans is, when a French national cannot speak English, Africans respect him. When a Spanish can't speak English, Africans respect him. When a Chinese can't speak English, Africans respect him. When a Russian can't speak English, Africans respect him. When a Portuguese can't speak English, Africans respect him. But when an African can't speak English, Africans consider him a joke, unintelligent, illiterate, dumb, and stupid. That's the level or extent of damage we have suffered as a people. We use English as a yardstick to measure the intelligence of our people, including children. A country that makes English compulsory in schools but agriculture optional will continue to speak English on empty stomach. In our schools, children are made to believe they're stupid just because they cannot speak a language alien to their ancestral root. Dear Africans, put an end to this mental slavery. Teach your children their mother tongue and allow the locals to feel free to speak their native languages without any stigma. Do not help the oppressors to extend their oppression. If you come across this post, share widely to spread this message and enlighten an African. The people around you need to hear this. It's a collective effort. Don't break the chain of mental revolution.